and the people would start joining in. So probably we can start in. So you can chit chat till like another couple of minutes, and then you can start. Right?
Okay, so you just give me a time the webinar have to start.
As people are joining in, I can see some 3, 4, 5 people. So they'll join in. So in another like 30 seconds or so, you can start. Till then, you can informally chit chat, I suppose.
So Anita, what all courses do you have in your university?
Ma'am, we have MBA, we have yoga, we have history, no, not history, but then we have these like biosciences one, biotechnology. So.
So postgraduate courses or?
Both UG as well as postgraduate courses, as well as we are doing we have PhD students also in various departments. Pharmacy also, we have pharmacy also here.
Okay.
So probably, ma'am, we can start, right? So people will keep on joining, so you can start it.
Okay. Very good morning to one and all present here. We welcome you for this webinar. We all are emotional as well as thinking beings. Emotions play an important role in how we think and behave. The emotions we feel each day can compel us to take action and influence the decisions that we make. Studies reveal that due to COVID-19 situation, well-being has been reduced by 74%. Last time, we heard the psychiatrist's perspective on mental health and stress management. We take forward this discussion, and today we'll hear the psychological perspective. So we have with us Ms. Parul Srivastava, Deputy Director, National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development, New Delhi. Ms. Parul Srivastava is in charge of Child and Adolescent Counseling Center and Project Coordinator of Advanced Diploma in Child Guidance and Counseling in affiliation with Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. Ms. Parul Srivastava is the master trainer for providing psychosocial interventions for children affected by trafficking. She is a trained play and family therapist. Ms. Parul Srivastava is going to conduct today's webinar entitled Emotional Wellbeing During COVID-19 Pandemic. In this talk, she would be sharing her expert views and would be holding an experiential session on emotional well-being. So over to Ms. Parul Srivastava to share her words of wisdom.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you very much. Since I intended to do it like an experiential workshop, I am expecting that it won't be one way. I'll be, people who are attending the webinar will also be sharing and expressing their point of view, and that's how I'll be able to take it forward rather than, sort of giving prescriptions as to how to be. But I would prefer it to be more interactional and experiential. So, good morning to everyone. I'm extremely thankful, Anita, for inviting me onto this platform to share on such an important topic, which I guess is concerning every being on the planet right now. And to be thoughtful about such a idea and to be, energizing the faculty of the university, I think was a very good idea. And more so because we are not only to take care of ourselves, but also we are providers to many, including our family, and to hundreds of students we are anchoring on a daily basis. So our well-being has got a catalytic effect on the others we are going to touch upon and reach out to. So congratulations for an important venture that the university has taken on. Yeah, so good morning. What I was asked to probably relate to today was how do we ensure emotional well-being amidst a pandemic which has just come in on the planet, and I guess all of us have to gear ourselves up to relate to it wisely and boldly. Before I begin, I want you to be maybe keeping a paper and a pen alongside and making certain notes and maybe jotting down certain reflections, which I would like you to share probably through the chat box, and then we keep on, addressing them. And we also, this gives me an idea as to where are we as a group and what are we thinking and feeling around the issues that we are talking right now. To begin with, I would like all of us to relate to how has this storm of pandemic affected our lives. So if you were to pose this question to yourself, how has this storm affected your life? Can you list down some of the things that have happened in your life or is happening in your life right now due to COVID pandemic? Take about 30 seconds and list them down for yourself. And some of you can also be writing down in the chat section for me to stay connected with you. Okay, so somebody feels it is restricted physical movement. Okay. While I can see only a few of you, I believe that we are about 30 plus in the group right now. So I am imagining that we all are making notes and writing down, and you are also sharing it with me so that I can move accordingly ahead. Okay, is anybody interested in articulating it, sharing it? Can I invite some of you to probably share it aloud? Anita, I am audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So I'm waiting for responses from people. Anita, I'm not able to see the full attendee list, people who are attending. Is that by default or that's been set like this?
Ma'am, that's been set like this.
Okay. So how do I get responses from people? Okay, so there are people who are saying we are not able to go out and have food. Okay.
Ma'am, you can, on the participant list, there is another, so you'll see two columns over there. One is panelist and the other is attendees. Right?
Yeah.
So on the attendees, if you click, you can see the list of the people. So they
Yeah,
won't be able to.
Okay, yeah. But since there isn't a connection in terms of knowing where are they in their thoughts and feelings. It's like a vacuum to move on. Since I planned it to be a little interaction. Okay. Now, what I hear people or writing, see people writing is related to not being able to move out and visit the loved ones, not being able to go out and have food, and home has become the new workplace. Yes, of course. Home has become the new workplace. Okay. As I move ahead, okay, technology is upscaling. Yes, yes, of course, yes. That's the only route by which we connect to everything in the world right now. Okay, right. So as we move forward, I also want you to think about the kind of thoughts and feelings that we have been living with in the last 1 month or 1.5 months. What have been those constant thoughts and feelings that have been prevailing and that have been overly clouding me in this period? Yeah. So I am hoping we are right. Okay. Now, yes, stress, fears for family, of course, of course, of course. So fear, anxiety, confusion, disappointments, worries is something that has come along in the package of pandemic, you know, and these are very likely. These are very likely because we are dealing with a completely unfamiliar situation. We do not know the virus enough. We do not know its impact enough, and we are discovering it as we are dealing with it. Yeah. I guess somebody wants to say something. Somebody has raised a hand, Anita. Yeah, Mohinderji, you can speak if you have raised hand. Is that by mistake this hand has been raised, or I'm waiting for you? Okay, I'll carry on. So we were saying these heavy and negative feelings of fears, anxiety, confusion, and disappointments are pretty natural. Natural only in the sense that we are dealing with something which is very, very unfamiliar. And we are constantly into a trap of what if thinking, you know, अगर ऐसा हो गया तो क्या होगा, अगर ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो कैसे होगा, कैसे आगे चलेगा. So this is leading to what we call as anticipatory anxiety, and for many of these questions we actually have no answers. We have to live questions, find answers, and then as we move on we get new questions. So this is but a very natural kind of a situation. But what is very important for us to see is that if we keep thinking and feeling in this way for most part of the day and for as many days, then what's going to happen? If I stay worried, anxious, fearful, confused, if that's my feeling tone, if that's my clouding of thoughts, and that's something which is happening all the time across the days, then it's likely that this disease may go away, but we'll be left being emotionally unwell. Because if we continue thinking negatively, it's going to impact our emotional well-being. So the disease might go away, but I may remain emotionally unwell. Can we afford this? We certainly cannot afford to be unwell emotionally or psychologically, and therefore I guess we need to do something about it. Ever since pandemic has come in, there has been a lot of news, lot of talks, lot of guidelines which have been issued, which is talking about how to stay physically healthy, how to enhance our immunity, how to what to eat. But nobody is talking about emotional health. We are not being mindful about our emotional stability, our tranquility, our peace, our sense of control. we are somehow feeling controlled by a disease, and we are trapped into this situation, and we do not know what can we do to overcome this. I think the biggest answer that is then required is to work on our resilience, our emotional immunity. So while it's important for us to have physical immunity, it's emotional immunity as well, which is probably as important. And by emotional immunity, I'm referring the inner strength, the inner power, the inner will to give direction to life. And resilience is basically a resourceful response to a situation where I am not compelled to respond in a passive, low manner, but I choose how do I respond to the situation. Of course, this is an unprecedented situation, yet I have very planned ways of responding, very constructive ways of responding to the situation, and that will be called as resilience. And this, if I do not develop, then this fear is going to dominate me. It is going to rule me, and that will not be so great. We need to find innovative ways by which we rediscover our inner power. We all have inner power, inner strength, but sometimes when the situation takes over, we are likely to not use our own inner resources. And some of us will have to probably build more inner resource and power. So in this session, we are talking about both the things, how do I activate my own inner resource, which is already there, and how do I also develop my inner power to relate to the situation. And for this, I thought we will do a small activity. And for this, if we could draw a tree on a paper next to me, take a moment to draw a tree. And since nobody is watching what you are drawing and how you are drawing, so feel free and be out of this whole pressure of how good is the drawing. Just draw a tree which has roots, a tree which will of course have a bark, the branches, the leaves, and the fruit. Draw a tree rooted in the ground and mark its various parts, its roots, bark, branches, leaves, and fruit. This is your tree of life. You are drawing your own tree of life. Okay, give me some signal that you are at it or you are almost through with it. Some of you can raise your hands once you are done with it. Okay, so as you draw your tree of life, I now want you to mark your roots with your values and beliefs. Where do you actually come from? What do you think are your core values and beliefs? Where are you rooted? Just list down all those values and beliefs in the root section of your tree. The guiding values of your life. Moving further to the ground where you are firmly rooted, list down the people whom you are living with. Who are the people you are living with? What are some of the activities you engage in with them? What are some of the activities that you engage in with these people you are living with right now? And moving on to the bark, identify and enlist your talents, skills, and coping mechanisms. Your general talents, skills, abilities, and your coping mechanisms. Moving on to branches, what are your hopes and dreams? What are your wishes for your life? These are the branches of the tree of your life. And in leaves, please mark important people in your life. And how do they influence your life? Leaves are the people, and the way they influence your life also mark how do you contribute to their lives, the people who are important in your life. And finally, mark the fruits. Fruits are the gifts that you have received from the people. These could be appreciations. And what have made you earn these gifts or appreciation from the people around you. Okay, so are we able to make our tree of life? Would some of you want to reflect and respond around this as to what have you discovered or what have you written for yourself? Anybody? Yes, anybody would like to share this? Yeah, Anita, should I be waiting or is it more like a talk?
I think I've asked a few people if they can. Okay, one of them has answered. I spend very less time with family, which is very important to me.
Okay, okay. Yeah. You know what? The purpose of this activity is only to get connected to our own source of life and to understand where are my fruits, where are my roots, and am I really using them? These are my inner resources. These constitute the reservoir of my inner resources. And if I am aware of these, if I am mindful of these, then I use them more often in my life. And then maybe any situation, I'm able to cross over. So at times we are so lost in living that our own resources may not, even when they are available, I may not be using them. And then I feel drained and strained and maybe left out and lost. And then I'm looking for outside resources to rescue me. So maybe, if not right now, at another time, but you must do this activity for yourself to mark your inner resources. And if I know my inner resources, then I'll be able to probably more actively use them, especially during difficult times. Moving further, I think we need to probably also remember that this period of lockdown, or this period where everything is so restricted, I would say there are only few things that we are not able to do during this period. If we are going to remember and tell ourselves that there are many things that I'm not able to do during this period, then this is going to bring in a sense of helplessness and a feeling of being out of control. But if you really come to look at it, there are only a few set of things that we are not able to do during this period. But maybe they were the only things I knew that could make me happy. I was so conditioned in doing all those things. Like, for example, if I thought that going out and eating at my favorite place is the source of my happiness, then maybe when this is not happening, I am probably not left with maybe another source that can make me happy. So there are set things that we have kept in our mind which says what is the definition of happiness. And when that is locked, I feel restricted. But I have to probably remind myself that even in this period, there are only a few things that I'm not able to do. There are still a lot of things that we can do. It's only that we are getting so accustomed in what we were doing earlier that we were operating from an auto mode, and I'm feeling self-defeated. I think it's a time to challenge our weaker self. It's a time that we can come to think of, we can do lots and lots of things even during this period of time. What are some of the very important things that are probably required of us? Very basic is to take good care of your body, and especially your biorhythms. Your biorhythms, once in place, once the routine normalizes, I don't have to probably reset my biological clock. So maybe a time to sleep, time to get up, time to have my meals, some time for exercise. Keep your biological clock in place. In case we had any of the earlier diseases before the pandemic came, I have to be even more conscious and take good care. Disease is actually a state of when I'm losing my sense of ease. And therefore, oftentimes in distress, to bring back ease, to bring back control, we may get into some kind of a substance use or addiction, or doing those activities which are just for the sake of it only keeping me active, but may not have very deep value. So there is a complete no-no for addiction, because in a state of addiction, it numbs our mind, and it stops us from making better choices, and that too when we are in difficult situation. It's also a time when I have to check my belief system. It's a situation, it's not the end of the world. It's a situation which is probably going on for a little longer than I could have ever imagined. It is probably a situation which I have never faced, or a similar situation where life remains so restricted for such a long period of time. Yet, it is not the end of the world. It is only a situation, it's a phase, and it will also go away. We need to keep a very good eye on our thought processes. Now, for our emotional and mental well-being, our thoughts play a very important role. So there are a lot of those processes which may be required, where I keep a very, very sharp view of what am I thinking silently inside. We are all the time thinking. Thinking is a very natural process, just as natural as breathing. But just as I become unmindful of breathing, I may also stay very unmindful of our thought processes. And these thought processes, the way I think, the kind of thoughts I have, will correspondingly create the feeling tones, and that will determine my outer responses, my behavior, my ability to maybe handle my responsibilities, roles, and to also think creatively and constructively in such a time. So instead of getting into a mode of thinking unmindfully, I think we need to create processes by which I do a self audit and check what am I thinking at different points of time during the day. And can I catch my thoughts? If I catch my thoughts, I think I will have to know how to edit my thoughts as well. Now, whatever we keep on thinking, revising, it gets reaffirmed in our brain. It almost becomes a script. It's like a CD being written inside. And whatever is written on the CD, it's going to play back. There won't be anything new that's going to come from that CD, but only what we are writing every moment, every second of our life. So we need to find out, and check our thoughts. Are we creating a programming of fears, worries, confusion? Because if I'm doing that, there isn't any other program that's going to come back to me. Also, I need to probably check information diets. What am I watching? What am I listening? What am I forwarding? This is also becoming my internal thought process. And anything that's becoming my internal thought process, as I said earlier, is going to be me, my life, my ways of handling situation, and probably my destiny. So I have to get into very strong intrapersonal communication. I need to have good dialogue within my own self. And the biggest thing that I need to do is SOS, which means that I need to take a pause several times in a day, however busy I may be. I need to stop and watch at the entangled and worrisome thoughts that are going on in my mind. I need to observe them, and I need to check, do I want to keep them? Am I getting too much into a particular kind of thinking? And then stop yourself from thinking that and steer yourself in doing something more creative, more constructive, or guiding and assuring yourself that this is a phase. I am working very hard. Not only you are working hard, I think as a community, as a government, everybody is working very hard to tide over this situation. None of us is alone in this situation. So we need to figure out what is happening inside our mind, redirect our mind, think more positively, think really creatively. Of course, this is a time to also connect to our higher power, whoever we believe in, whether it is God, whether it is nature, whether it is energy, whatever is the highest level of power I believe in, I need to connect, because maybe my resources will not be enough to tide over this situation. Also, it is said that, if we are really very stressed, spending some time with the nature, just observing things, feeling the nature for a while is also going to be very soothing. It's very, very tranquilizing. And that's going to really do us good, instead of staying indoors only with the gadgets, repeatedly handling the same programs and activities. I think de-link yourself from gadgets. Just maybe probably watching out of the window for a while. Just being out in the balcony and feeling the breeze, the air, the humidity is also reconditioning your body and your thoughts. We need to do a lot of positive affirmations, and positive affirmations it's not a make-believe. It's not just to tell yourself everything is okay, everything is good, but until you tell your brain what you really want to see, what you want to see is not going to come by. Because I want to see something, but I'm telling my mind, oh my God, this situation is very bad. Oh my God, things are not going to improve so very soon. So I'm wanting wellness, I'm wanting things to improve, but the messages which I'm giving to myself are contrary. So I need to make positive affirmations. Also, this is a time when, some of you said that we are not able to go out, not able to do many of the things that we wanted to do, not meet our loved ones. Of course, yes. But this is also a time when I need to do a lot of visualization. And there is a high power in the possibility of visualization. When you are really distressed, whatever you are missing, just sit down, close your eyes, and visualize yourself doing exactly what you wish to do. Going to that place, meeting those people, really doing those activities that you wish to do a vivid visualization of that. Keep your mind anticipating and wishing and hoping for that possibility rather than telling your mind, ये भी नहीं हो रहा, ये भी पता नहीं कब होगा, ऐसे तो कब तक चलेगा. This is giving a negative diet to your brain, and negative diet to your brain cannot give you emotional and mental wellness. Other things which are very important is to keep yourself very active and engaged. You have to keep yourself. I know we all have a lot of time right now. We have lesser possibilities and more time, and therefore we might just be reclining, retreating, lying, and less physical activity. But we have to do just the opposite. We have to keep ourselves more active, more engaged. Maybe a musical instrument that I didn't play for so long and was lying next to me. Maybe the book that I did not read. Maybe that one thing that I wanted to do for so very long. This is the time. Just engage yourself. Just do those things and keep yourself active. Maybe we are not able to connect to people physically, go there, meet them, but stay connected to people, exchange of emotions, and do share, what you have been doing, what they have been doing, and maybe we get ideas as to how make life more energized at that time. Along with this, I think one very small strategy which also does wonder is to be doing deep breathing. Slow but deep breathing as much and as often during the time. This is very tranquilizing. And I'm not propagating any particular pranayama, yoga. If you can do it and you are really capable of doing it, please do it as much. But if I don't know if any of these, just simple deep breathing and very slow deep breathing, but natural breathing will really be important, for us, because that has got a tranquilizing effect. That has a real meditating effect to you, and our brain needs to be in a real tranquilized state. Then only the brain is active, is creative, is expansive, is able to think about all those things that I would have never even planned, but our brain is capable of. But I have to leave my brain unoccupied with the negative feelings, then only all of this is going to happen. And there's a very important saying which says, what we focus grows. So if I'm going to focus on worries, tensions, negativities, all is going to happen is that it will grow many fold. So why not focus on what you want to happen in your future? So please think about all those things, imagine them, do positive affirmations, do visualization. It's not a child's thing, it's not a kid's play to be doing visualization. And visualization is a process where you actually see yourself there, feel things happening around you, hear those sounds that you imagine would be there when you're going to be there. Now that visualization, if I'm able to do, I am really preparing my mind for positive. I'm really preparing my mind for good outcomes in the near future. And so we all know that tough times do not last, but tough people do. So we need to be so tough that we can cross over any situation, whether it is this pandemic, and we know that so many other situations are coming up. So I may just think that I have all the resources to be able to deal with pandemic. Then we have, maybe a possibility of war around the border. Maybe there is another kind of natural disaster around the corner. So what is it when I say that I am done with? In the coming times, I think we are seeing challenges of all kinds, man-made or natural, and these things are only telling us that we need to be strong enough inside to be able to deal with. I cannot control what is outside, but I can definitely control what is inside. And if I don't have the power to determine my inside, the outside will always play havoc on me. I think a few other things that we can probably do, and I think which I'm strongly propagating, is keep catching your mind thinking negatively and give it a positive thought. Be the master of your mind. We say mind determines everything. I'm saying no, even you can determine your mind. Be the master of your mind and determine how your mind is thinking. feelings, I think the positive feelings have got real inertia and power. It keeps our batteries charged. It keeps us going. And so each time I'm feeling low, I'm feeling sad, or if I see anybody around me at home, at workplace, wherever I am, if I see people low, I think I need to energize. We need together to create a collective consciousness of positive feelings, positive thoughts for this universe to deal with such big outside issues. और हमारा ज़्यादातर मानना ये है कि अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो प्रॉब्लम के बारे में सोचना है, अगर परेशानी है तो परेशान रहना है, अगर परेशान नहीं रहेंगे तो परेशानी जाएगी कैसे? नो, इट्स द अदर वे राउंड. परेशानी है, think about that, but don't think about it all the time. Think about possibilities. Think about ways in which it can be countered, not the problems and its impact. Maybe a few other things that one can do at this time is maybe track your journey through this time of your lockdown. Maybe make a small journal. Make a small journal of listing down all those unique things that you did because you happen to have time, because you happen to be at home, because you were out of the basic rut of life. So all those innovative, unique, small to big things that you did during this lockdown, make a collage, make a journal, paste pictures, write some metaphors, write some thoughts around it. Ask everyone in the family to share, what this period has been, what have been nice things that we have done during this period. And if anybody is talking anything negative, you say, yeah, that's right, that happened, but can we also think about something interesting that we did during this period? That's how I'm going to flip energies. It's time to flip energies and stay positive. Bring out your creative self. We have always talked about having less time, not having time to do some of our favorite things that we are passionate about. It's time to activate our creative selves. It's time to activate our powerful selves. It's not time to be only thinking about me and my family. There are hundreds of people who are working even in this pandemic for us to be enjoying the benefits of maybe our daily supplies, maybe the power, the water. All of it is happening just because there are lots of people who are still at work. So how do I not only take care of myself and my family, but also become useful for the community? I have to rise to that level. When I become that tall and I become bigger than myself, I become bigger than my problem, then this pandemic will just pass away. It's just pass away. It's just that we are giving it more power than it probably has. And I think it's time for prayers. It's time for collective prayers. It's time for, in whichever prayer that you believe in, whichever thought energizes you or connects it to your supreme power, it's time. It's time that we should spend more and more around it and maybe pray for health and happiness of everybody. Because this pandemic has helped us to understand that we are so interconnected. One mistake by one person can cost heavy on hundreds. So similarly, one deep, genuine prayer is also going to make difference to hundreds. So I think we all need to probably energize this universe and keep our focus on the positive. Make memories of important things that you have done during this period. It's a time for it's a digital world, so make a video, make a movie on interesting things that have happened to you. Make a family collage. List down all the things that you have discovered, the internal powers that you have discovered in the people of your family. How anybody has tried to reach out. How somebody has probably exuberated hope, maybe extra strength, maybe the ability to take on responsibility. Be mindful, make note of all of this and preserve them. And as anyone would say, for our better care, I think we need to have a very planned day, no matter what. Maybe we are out of routines that we were doing, but this time is also going to be there for a while, So can I have a proper routine for this period as well? And it should have a combination of some physical activity, maybe some exercise, must have some creative and constructive activity other than the daily chores, you know, whether it could be drawing or painting, it's creating something, it's plant care, it's probably just spending some time with music, or maybe doing that professional reading that I was not getting enough time with. I have a lot of books around me, but I never found time to do that, you know. So, you know, get connected to books, you know. And one which is very important is maybe declutter your areas, you know, reorganize your cupboards, your bookshelves. You know, it also has got its own very therapeutic value. And do spend some time on doing something amusing, something that just peps up your energy. And one very significant thing is to have a bedtime ritual. Do some relaxing activity at the bedtime. We normally, you know, till the time, you know, we really are not fast asleep, we'll keep our gadgets next to us, you know. I think just to keep, you know, dealing yourself with a gadget at least 1 hour before your real sleep time, listening to a good music, or maybe just revisiting what the day was and thinking about a better version that is tomorrow. You know, what are things that I did today, and what is it that I look forward to do tomorrow? Give those real positive expansive signals to your mind. While you will be asleep, your brain is still at work, so give the brain the right things to work on during the night, rather than crowded thoughts and worries and maybe unwanted kind of stimulation. That's not what your brain needs when you really want to give it a good rest, you know. And by this, I think I'm energizing and creating a positive mind for the next day. And this is a notion all of us know. Control Alt Delete is that when there is a computer hangs, when it is not processing things fine, then we very often use Control Alt Delete. This is also a time to often do Control Alt Delete. I have to control my thoughts. I have to look at alternative ways. I have to find alternative ways of being energized, being happy, and keep on deleting negative thoughts. The positive and negative cannot stay together. So delete the negative, and please energize yourself from the positive thoughts. We all have the power to be happy. It's just that we have to use it every day. It's a choice that we make to stay happy. So if I'm not happy, it means I'm not making right choices. It's our time to unlock happiness. I have to find ways. So when we talk to people, everybody is sharing their things, their ideas. What is working with them? What's not working with them? Well, I can borrow what things others are doing and maybe use it, but also do not do it just because it's working for another. See what works for you. You are different from others. You are unique. Find out your ways. How does it happen for you? And create those strategies that really energize. And I think it's a time to discover self. It's a time to strengthen our relationships with our own body. It's time to probably in sync with our spirit and our feeling. And if we are doing it, I don't think we need anything else, you know. So it's like somebody was saying that what's the treatment for corona? He says, no, there is no medicine that is given except that it gives you supplements such as vitamin C, D, and E. Now reverse it. If I keep giving it to myself, vitamin C, D, and E, my immunity is in place, and corona is not going to impact me. Similarly, I think in about a year's time, we are going to come out with a lot of researches which are going to talk about the impact, the psychosocial impact of corona, and how it has impacted people, how people have been constantly thinking about loss of job, loss of money, loss of possession, power. And if this is what we are going to do all the time for such a long period of time, I'm sure it's going to impact. And just think about it, if that's going to happen to the major section of the community, if that's how the entire community, the entire country is thinking, where is the hope? So it's just a pandemic. It's just an illness. It's just a disease. Let's know wise ways of dealing with the disease, but let it not overpower us. With that, I end, and I hope you all stay healthy, happy, energized, and really motivated not only to keep yourself at peace, but I guess to keep so many people around you happy and alert around you, because that's your responsibility. There are hundreds of lives linked to you. So if you are happy and energized, just think about your catalytic ability. You are energizing so many more. So good luck to all of you. And I think let's make a better destiny by thinking positive and remembering it's just an illness which came and will definitely go away as well. Thank you. Thank you, Anita.
A wonderful session indeed, ma'am. And I hope everybody has enjoyed this. This was such an insightful session for all of us. And definitely, we all had been drawing the trees and everything with ourselves, but maybe we did not express it with you. So thanks, ma'am, for letting us undergo this experiential way of understanding our emotions, our own selves, and also letting us know the ways of building a resilience during this stressful time. And we've also learned to look for different alternatives in our life. We can count on our blessings rather than focusing on our problems, and also helping us construct this tree of life, and to better understand ourselves, to introspect ourselves, and then to rely on the sources of emotional support for us, emotional and social support for us. So now we move forward towards the question and answer round. So I have a few questions, like people have asked me. So if someone, like there's a question, if someone has lost his or her job during this time and who has a lot of responsibilities, how can he maintain his voice?
Yeah, meaning it is certainly unfortunate. We will never be prepared for losing things and losing something which is probably the source and the anchor of my life. But I guess that because we do not know how this life is going to move on, it's just that that is making me feel maybe out of control. Once things are going to resume, and to kind of remember that, I'm not down and out by just losing a job. I don't want to trivialize losing a job. It is a big thing. But what's most important is that just as this is a situation which is brought in, the situation, once it is going to go, it's also going to bring in better situations, better possibility. You know what? When we get so problem saturated, the every straw of the problem looks so big and huge. So not that, somebody who has a lot of responsibilities on their shoulder will definitely feel the weight more. But by being sad, by being so hopeless, I don't think we are going to get it so easily back. It's only when I am in form and shape that I'll be able to think better options. But I think hugely prayers at this time, I would say, and not only for oneself, but for the entire community, because we are largely dependent on outer resources also. So when things will change outside, things will also change for me. But the journey has to begin from myself.
So we don't have to lose hope in this condition.
Yeah, we don't have to lose hope, but we also have to keep on energizing ourselves. Not wait and watch. Not wait and watch. That's not being hopeful. It's just like keep on energizing, keep on looking at your resources, keep on looking at the possibilities. Don't clutter your mind with the negative.
And another question is, because of overthinking in this lockdown, mind has stopped producing positive thoughts.
Yes.
So how to rebuild that quality?
I guess one of the things that we have talked about even in the session is that, take, meaning after 1 hour, every 1 hour, if you can take 1 minute pause, whatever you are doing, just take a minute of a pause and watch yourself think. Just catch yourself and see what are you thinking. Can you edit your thoughts? Because it's a clutter that is got created. Clutter clear कौन करेगा? आजकल तो helper mates भी नहीं आ रहे. Clutter भी मुझे ही clear करना है. So this is a clutter which I am creating inside my mind. Who's going to clear it? I need to clear it. So catch yourself thinking anything negative, anything undue, and stop yourself. Because, we are like a machine, our brain also get into an automobile. जो सोचना शुरू करते हैं वही सोचना चलता रहेगा हमें पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि हम क्या. So I think the best way is keep every hour just pause for a minute, see what is happening in your brain, clear it, give your brain a direction, that is SOS, then move on. I think your tendency to keep thinking automatically and negatively will considerably reduce. And this is very true. When I stop thinking negatively, real expansive side of my brain comes out. My brain starts thinking possibilities. My brain starts giving me alternatives. It's me which is polluting my mind. So I need to take charge.
Thank you. So next question is, how can I stop my overthinking because of this quarantine? This is the major problem, and I'm facing it daily. I've been doing a lot of things, but can't stop thinking myself. Like he's not able to get rid of his past. He or she, I don't know, but then.
See, the mindfulness is a very important thing. Mindfulness is a process by which I just become aware of my own thoughts and feelings. Our brain otherwise has a tendency to either think about the past, things which were happening in the past, which I enjoyed, but I'm losing them now, or I'm constantly thinking about the future. Both are considered to be psychologically morbid. So the real state of being is being in the present. So अगर बहुत ज़्यादा overthinking हो भी रहा है तो आप अपने आप को एक worry time दे दो कि 5:30 to 6 in the evening is my worry time. जब भी कोई worrisome thought आएगा, okay, I postpone it. I'm going to think it my worry time. This is not my worry time. This is my time to do this. So if your mind has a tendency to think or worry a lot, designate a worry time, designate an anger time, designate a tension time. But every other time when it comes, you say, no, this is an undue input. This is not the time for this. So you're actually training your mind. When we do not stay mindful, our mind is like polluted by all this. And this is, as I said, like breathing. Our brain has a tendency to constantly think. But if I feed my brain right, then it does the right things for me. But if I do feed it bad, the outcome is also going to be bad. So I'm sure there are bigger reasons for people to be angry, to be disappointed, to be worrisome. But as I said, I'm not like being joking, but like really tell your mind, this is my worry time. I can do worrying only at this time. I can't worry all the time. So do that active worrying at that time, but leave it at all times.
Thank you, ma'am. And our next question is, nowadays people are talking about new normal. So what do you say about this new normal? Because sometimes mind starts thinking about this new normal. So basically it is related with it.
See, normal भी तो वही normal था ना जिसे हम सब लोगों ने मिलकर मान लिया था, उसको हमने normal मान लिया है ना. जैसे हमने कहा stress is normal. अब जब तक पेंडेमिक नहीं आया था तो हम बहुत काम कर रहे थे, भागदौड़ कर रहे थे, तो द सेम स्ट्रेस क्या, स्ट्रेस तो नॉर्मल है, स्ट्रेस इज पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ. तो ask anybody who is from the field of mental health or spirituality, they say no, this is not normal. Stress is not normal. Stress is like a disease, but we considered it to be normal. Running a fast-paced life, we thought it was normal. So what is normal? Normal is something, I think the universe is giving us a time to think about what I really needed. What is true normal? What is true normal? और हम मान लेते हैं जो सब लोग कर रहे हैं वही नॉर्मल, पर अगर सब लोग गलत कर रहे हैं तो वो नॉर्मल कैसे हो सकता है? तो इसलिए I think the universe is giving some time to de-link ourselves from many things that we were doing and construct what I think as a family, as an individual, what is normal. That is the bar that I need to set for myself. Well, community will have a new normal, certainly, because we have gone through a big disease. So our lifestyles will be dependent on that. The kind of things that we will do and not do those definitions will come up, certainly come, as we have started saying, meet people, but they should be only affluent people, do activities, but only do it in this manner. I guess we are resisting these because we are so used to of doing what we were doing earlier, and we thought that was the best thing to do. I don't know whether what we were living earlier was the real best way to live. So it's something that we all will have to evolve in. But for the community, there'll be a new in certain ways.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is we try to keep ourselves happy and motivated at times, but after some time that happiness or motivation gets faded, and how to maintain that thing. So please guide.
See, happiness is also a very, very misunderstood kind of a word. So we think, we have also linked happiness to achievements. We have linked happiness to possessions. जब ये मिल जाएगा तो मैं happy हो जाऊंगा. जब मैं वो खा लूंगा तो मैं happy हो जाऊंगा. जब मैं वहाँ चला जाऊंगा तो मैं happy हो जाऊंगा. So that's been, I would say, a distorted definition of happiness. Happiness, in true sense, is a sense of tranquility. But it is said the opposite. If you are happy, you'll be able to do it. We are saying that if I get all this, then I'll be happy. Reverse is true. If I'm happy, I'm stable, I am calm, I'll be able to do it. So if my motivation and my inner meter is going down, who's going to monitor it? I'm going to monitor it. And that's dependent on what am I thinking? What am I feeding to my mind? What am I listening and reading all the time? If I change the quality of things that I'm listening, reading, doing, the kind of interactions I'm doing, it'll change quality too. The whole day, if we think, the whole day we'll talk about pandemic will go away. Pandemic is going to go at its own pace, but we are creating pandemics in our mind. So talking and over talking about things are not solving problems. Stay mindful. Do as much. There are 100 of other things that we should be doing. Just stay mindful of that and keep energizing your soul. That's really important.
Thank you. Next is why depressed people are not advised to do meditation.
See, it's a very... so when we say meditation, truly meditation means being in charge of your thoughts. It's really navigating your thoughts and feeling and being very focused. Now, that is something which is probably not possible for people who are in a low phase, who are in depression, because they have a particular quality of thinking. Now, if they over-focus on it, they will in any case be affected, and they over-focus on whatever is happening in their mind, the low quality of thoughts, or the hopelessness or helplessness kind of thoughts. I think it's going to bring in it's going to be more devastating. So for them, they have to be more out and open. They have to be more into schedules, into routines, into activities, connecting to people. For them, I think unguided and unsupervised meditation, unless they are trained in it, they are being supervised, it may become difficult.
Thank you, ma'am. I wish this session would go on and on, but due to time constraints, we need to bring end to this session. So I thank the Almighty first of all. Then on behalf of Shoolini University, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude towards our esteemed resource person, Ms. Parul Srivastava, for gracing today's webinar and helping us to get experiential learning about emotional well-being. I'm grateful to the management for giving this opportunity, the technical team, and Ms. Anupriya Thakur for helping run this webinar smoothly, and the vibrant audience for their participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita. It was really very nice to be reaching out to a community who is going to then reach out to so many more, And I think that's what I very truly believe in, that there'll be a snowball effect, me reaching out to a handful, to hundreds more. So that's great. It's been a great opportunity, and I really feel thankful that I'm able to be useful for so many people. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. It was a
ripple effect.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you, ma'am.
I leave, Anita.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, what's up? Can you guys?